All right, let's get rolling here again. I'm sure Luna likes this. No rocky ballast, nice and smooth and fairly flat here. So again, you can hear the Matawin River running beside us. There is, you know, like you look at maps and it says the Subdivision River, and then the sign on the highway says the Matawin River. The Matawin is formed by the confluence of the Matawin and the Subdivision River, and then there's a whole bunch of other tributaries as well. On another map it shows as the Dog River, which is over there, and the Dog River sometimes is referred to as the Kaministiquia River. The Dog River flows out of Dog Lake, right? So very, very confusing. So again, nice section here running alongside the river. Lots of you know, sort of curves and things like that. We are continuing to climb. We've climbed, I said 1042, so we've climbed 15 feet already. Like I said, I literally coasted all the way down. I don't think I pedaled at all coming east. So this was one of the things with this railway line. The Grand Trunk Pacific NTR line went way over budget when they built it, because they had some pretty stringent requirements in terms of the grade and things like that. Let's cross over to the other side here so you can see the Matawin. Now, I don't know if you can see it through the trees, maybe just up there. We actually have two rail lines on the other side. So closest to us, we have the Canadian Pacific, Kansas City, their Nippigan Subdivision, their Kaministiquia Subdivision, which runs from Thunder Bay to Raith. And just above it, you have the Canadian National Tracks, so the Canadian National Kashabawi Subdivision, which we mentioned. So as I was saying, lots of very strict stipulations for this line in terms of its gradients and things like that. Lots of very gentle curves, right? Not very sharp curves. Sorry, I'm trying to see. We have a point of interest here. I'm gonna make sure I don't go by it. Okay, I did go by it. All right, let's backtrack. Now, one of the most challenging things to do on this rail line is figure out mileages, because the mileages on the line change so many times with the changing of the companies, right? From the Grand Trunk Pacific to the Canadian Government Railways to Canadian National Railways. So according to the mileage, this is where this bridge is supposed to be. Somewhere in this area here. I don't know, it doesn't look like there's a bridge. So it's either here or it's a little bit farther ahead. Again, doesn't look like there would be anywhere here that you potentially have a bridge. Doesn't really make sense. Now, the reason why I wanted to point this out, so it's either here, it's either farther ahead. 1924, 1925, there was a slow order in this particular area, and the reason for it was likely there was a deterioration of the bridge. So maybe here somewhere, I don't know. You know, maybe it hadn't been replaced since the line was built, and they weren't going to replace it because you know, the line was going to be abandoned, but there was a slow order. It said 6 miles per hour over the bridge, so I'll flash that up. Okay, so we're back to where we left off from. The barking dogs. Dogs are going to be barking at us again. So again, you can see the rail lines on the south bank of the river. The Canadian Pacific Kansas City line would have been built through here in the 1870s. The Canadian Northern line would have been built between 1899 and 1902. So you can probably see a little bit better now. No trains. I heard one a little bit earlier. All right, so we have another feature up here. So we're coming up, passing through the only real rock work on this section here that we're doing. So you can see it's, I don't know, 12 feet, something like that. A little bit on the other side. See some vestiges of snow. There's that wind. Okay, let's hold up here for a second, and then we don't have too much further to go before we're done. All right, let's keep plugging along. So here we got another little depression. So potentially here could have been yet again another spot where that little trestle was with the slow order. Again, we're continuing to climb here. So we've climbed 18 feet from where I checked it by the pit. You can see that there's an incline, and this line certainly had issues with the inclines. Literally, we're climbing from Lake Superior, which is like 600 feet above sea level, and this line has to go cross over the height of land, which is like 1,600 feet. So there's 1,000 feet of climb that it has to do. Not right away, but again, there's a lot of mitigation that was done to try to address that. Now, what the heck do I have here on my GPS? All right, so we're back here to update the video. You'll notice it is a much different day than when we were recording. It is September of 2025. We recorded the video back in April of 2024. Now, the reason why we came back here is in the video, I assumed that this was one of the possible locations for that wood trestle. As it turns out, that is incorrect. So the wood trestle was most likely further back where we had indicated, and the reason why we know that it's not the location of the wood trestle is because I was able to find a document at Library Archives in Canada that basically outlines the fact that back in 1918, at the time, Canadian Government Railways signed a contract for a number of upgrades on the line, which included the Strawberry Creek trestle. So the same company, Carter Halls Aldinger of Winnipeg. And so here at the time was what was milepost 29.3. They had a contract to build a 6-foot reinforced concrete culvert. Now, obviously, that culvert is no longer here. And you can see that there is a very large metal culvert that has been put in. I'm guessing the reason for that was because the concrete culvert was they had to widen the road when they turned it into a road as opposed to a railway line, and probably the culvert wasn't big enough. And so again, you can see that the concrete culvert in there. Did find this inside the culvert, which appears to be a track bolt. So what I'll do is show you the maps, and I'll show you the document with the culvert on it. So kind of gives us a little bit of additional information about this location. and literally we're done, because I can see my truck up ahead. So the grade, it sort of straightens out here. Not as many curves. 1072. So 72, 30 feet. Oh yeah, we've climbed 30 feet because it was 1042 at the pit. So again, lots of incline here. Again, you can see all the embankment work in this area. Again, indicative of being alongside the Matawin River, and lots of little tributaries, lots of little creeks and things that are flowing towards the river itself. All right, so we've basically arrived at the end of this section, running from the river crossing up until here. So the grade continues up ahead. We're going to stop here, and we're going to pick that up in the next episode. We're going to be coming in from the other direction. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed today's exploration and all the things that we've seen. Again, some really interesting things with the bridge and the very well preserved grade and the pit, and then this nice little bike ride, kind of chilly bike ride along the railway grade. So again, we're going to be coming back to do this section. I have done this section before, so I am familiar with it, but we are going to update it and redo it. And so in the meantime, we'll be back just as soon as we can with more episodes. So thanks for tuning in.